Right. Scared
How
some
crazy
liquor.
are you?
All right, I'd like to call the special meeting of the Royal Oak Downtown Development Authority of July 31st, 2019 to order. I'm looking out there for public comment. I see nobody there. Unless they're disguised as empty chairs, I'm going to close public comment and move on to number 3. Sean.
We're taking this item back to the board. As the board may recall at the last meeting, in the regular meeting in July, they approved a budget amount of $9,000 to provide to Skoop for their Pedicab services, but that money was intended to be a match for their ad sales. After negotiating with Skoop, it's come to light that just given the time constraints of us going month to month like this, they haven't really had the capacity to have a sales force on the ground, and it's doubtful that they'll be able to generate sufficient revenue for us to match it. Instead, they came back with a counteroffer that they would actually just take the $9,000, which is half of what had been paid in the past, and they would just continue to operate through the month of August. However, they'd scale back 2 shifts, and that the first shift would be their lowest performing shift. That's Saturday afternoon, and then they'd also get rid of their second lowest performing shift, which would be Sunday afternoon. They'd still continue to keep 3 cabs in operation. But they would be operating Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night for the weekends in August for $9,000.
So basically, it's just, it'll be Thursday, Friday, Saturday night, and looking at the numbers, though, that's probably 85% of the ridership right now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Those are the highest rates of
Saturday
ridership.
afternoon, Sunday afternoon, it's minimal at best. And I can see the whole Sunday thing especially, because that gives them an extra day out, that they're not covering all the guys being here. And that was in turn for them ensuring us that they'd come back with 3. The stay with 3.
Yep, they basically had an option. They'd go down to 2 cabs and maybe get rid of 1 shift, or they'd get rid of 2 shifts and keep the 3 cabs. And, just the informal feedback that I've been receiving, it just seems necessary to keep 3 cabs in circulation on those busier nights, because their ridership's really
Absolutely. And the one thing, guys, Gary and Tony, we were talking out in the hallway, the one thing that we want to implore them is to make sure that come Memorial Day next year, that they have all their ducks in a row and we hit the ground running. And Sean had mentioned something about bringing them to like the stakeholders meeting in March. I said February.
I'm thinking January.
Okay, and I agree with Director Baglio. I mean,
yeah,
give them 4 months, because that way, if there's any holes, okay, we can help to promote it, right? To help them get more advertising and fill the gaps. I couldn't agree more. I'd rather, the more time that we have to know that they don't have a full slate, the better.
Can I add something to that? I agree with January. I agree with the stakeholders meeting, but I think that if we could get them to come back to the Consumers Marketing Committee, is that where they started?
I think so.
And kind of tweak some of the routes, find a better way to let people know that these are free. Because I think people are they don't really understand what this is all about. People are starting to catch on. It is starting to grow in the community. People are getting it, but we have to figure out ways to really let people know that these are available to them for free. And third, I think we need to develop some sort of a core target advertiser. For example, a venue that brings a lot of people to town weekly, for example, Drag Queen Bingo or the Royal Oak Music Theater or the Farmers Market. Those people, I think we need to get some sort of commitment from them to help support this, because it's just a good fit, I think. Not saying that they have to, but maybe as a marketing committee we could kind of develop some sort of unofficial commitment from them.
And I'm just thinking out loud. The pedal pubs downtown, and this is a totally different animal, but I know one of the smartest things they did was they went to individual bars and said, hey, for a $500 sponsorship, we'll get the people to go to your place. And I know that that's kind of not what we're going for here, but these guys are ambassadors to a degree. I mean,
Additionally, I don't know exactly what their routes are, but I think that they could tie into the farmer's market a little bit better. I don't know what shift that would work, but I think just kind of tweaking a little bit at a committee level with them there, I think there's a lot, we can make a lot of improvements.
and I would suggest too I think it's a really good idea for the committee to meet with them first and find out, okay, where are you? How much advertising do you need for the season? In other words, have them put a pro forma out. In other words, here's what we're going after. We need to sell, I mean, I don't think any of us really know what it costs. Gary does, I'm sure.
It's not that much.
What it costs to put your name on the back of that thing, how long it stays up there, and how many they can fill, and how many they need, so that we have 3 cabs running full-time. I mean, ideally, it'd be great if they sold so much advertising, they're running 4 cabs.
So each of the ads to advertise for a full month was about $300, and that's using their East Lansing rates. I thought that was remarkably low. So in order to make the 9,000 mark, I think they would have to, just quick math here, sell 30 ads and have 30 advertisers per month operating to generate that 9,000 in order to meet that match, as it were. So if they were to get up to their 18, they'd have to do double that. So I'm thinking, I mean, their rates are up to them, but I think we would have to just talk to them to see, who we could help line up, at least to be those core advertisers.
And just so I understand, they operate in East Lansing, and they do the same model, because, like, when you said, a lot of people don't realize that it's free. I mean, any other city I've gone to, you pay for it. I mean, I've never seen it free, and I wonder if, I don't know, maybe, I mean, it's kind of weird, because we want them out there, and I mean, I would take them out there if they were charging people, as long as it was reasonable. Maybe there's some kind of in between. I don't know. Maybe their business model works in East Lansing, but here it's either charge more for the advertising or do a combination of of them, where it's $5 a ride wherever you're going.
I think that it's just a matter of it catching on. I mean, it's still kind of relatively new. The first month we had all the festivals, there's some street closures, and they weren't getting the saturation that they needed. So really, July was the only month that we could really measure what they were doing. But they are catching on, and people are using them. I'm seeing more and more filled cabs than I am empty ones. I took a ride once.
But Gary, when you're saying catching on, I mean, so to me, there's 2 ways it's got to catch on. If it's full, and people are, if they're riding, if a guy's shift is 8 hours and he's full for the 8 hours, but nobody's advertising, that's not helping us, right? Or is it like, if the guys are getting tipped well, that helps?
It's 50-50. I mean, you do see the ads in the cab because they're both in the cab and on the back. But if it's riding around, you see the ads on the back.
Not my point. Is success, as far as Skoop is concerned, is there success selling out the ads, selling a combination of the ads and the ridership?
I see what you're saying.
See what I'm saying?
Provided
Because it could be filled. In other words, the word gets out that these are free, and they're filled. Every time you see them in the street, they're filled. There's people waiting to get on them. But if nobody's advertising,
Well, that's their issue.
Right.
that's what I'm saying. So maybe they need.
Yep.
Well, you guys.
I was just, I agree with Director Baggio, everything that he said, and I just think that probably let's let them wrap up the season.
Yep.
And maybe not this consumer marketing meeting, but maybe September or October, whichever
Absolutely.
we feel necessary. We bring them in for a wrap-up and discussion of next year's potentials.
Perfect.
So,
I would hold their feet to the fire and say.
So does anybody want to make a motion here?
I'll make a motion to,
Everything Sean said?
approve this is $9,000, and they're gonna drop, Saturday afternoon and Sunday afternoon, but they're gonna stay with 3 cabs.
Okay. I got a motion,
Second.
got a second by Director Baglio. Any further discussion? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, motion carries. Number 4, any other business? Before we adjourn, we don't have our official adjourner here,
Nope.
so
I'll move to adjourn.
move to adjourn by Director Riley.
I'll second.
Second by Director Sophia. All those in favor?
Aye.